Brian, are you able to hear us?
Donna, I hear you fine. This
Okay,
is Mike Capps. We did see just about 2 minutes ago another CEV pull up just to the right of where the initial holes were made, and more ramming as they begin the operation that Robert Vito spoke of a few moments ago, that ramming operation, taking this compound down bit by bit. At this point, it sure would be interesting to know where the rest of these, where the cult members are now.
Mike, Robert Vito was reporting to us that they were trying to isolate them all into one group with those heat-seeking devices. And we were just noticing the last couple of minutes when that other vehicle came in and was ramming the compound, it looked a little bit different from the vehicle that we had seen, the one before sunrise and the one just a little bit before 9 a.m. Eastern time this morning. How many vehicles are they, and can you tell us a little bit more about how they work and what you've been able to see?
That's a good question, and I don't have all the answer to that. The one earlier appeared to have a bigger A-frame on it, a bigger battering ram than this one did. But as far as how many in numbers, I couldn't tell you. There are several Bradley fighting vehicles. There had been, we had counted 2 or 3 M1A1 Abrams tanks, and there are shots of the helicopters. We've seen helicopters making reconnoiters of the area all morning long, watching what's been going on during this dismantling operation. It appears that they've landed for a while now on this very, very windy day. You can see the trees blowing. We're getting wind gusts here on this prairie in central Texas, northeast of Waco, anywhere from 30 to 40 miles an hour. Yes. Mike,
give us an idea of what we're looking at right now. Refresh our memory, and including for folks who might just be joining us, what part of the compound we're looking at?
This is the area where the FBI is set up. It is their compound area. There's a helicopter landing space out there. Over to the left of the picture we're seeing now, there are tents, Winnebagos, mobile homes, temporary office space that's been set up almost from the beginning of this siege, this 51-day siege, Don. And it's about, that area is probably about a mile, 3/4 of a mile or a mile away from the compound itself.
When we look at this and we can see where these vehicles have rammed into the compound, is it just one area that they're concentrating on in this tearing down at this point?
It appears to me to be right, the initial ramming, it appeared to be in the area of the compound's main entrance, a little in that area, the middle part of the compound entrance, and then the compound entrance itself. And that's where the ramming that I've noticed so far appears to be.
Mike, this is Brian Jenkins. I'm out with a view of the compound on the horizon behind me, and just a few minutes ago we saw this reconnaissance plane circling over the compound again. Now, Bob Vito reported to us from Los Angeles that authorities say this plane has high technology heat sensing equipment aboard that can spot individual bodies down in the compound. It has been circling very often this morning. Again, the question is, might at some point the authorities have to go in and pull Koresh and his followers out bodily? It's one thing to identify where they are, it's another thing to flush them out. And we know they are fanatical, they are devoted to David Koresh, they are convinced that the apocalypse is coming, and authorities may have to pull them out by hand. We don't know if negotiations are going on at this time. Donna?
All right, Brian, thanks. That's right. And there are about 95 adults, including 17 children, still in that compound as we take a look at our live picture. We want to play you a tape of the latest ramming technique of the federal authorities as they were going to go in and try and ram this compound down, we're told, building by building. And this happened just a couple of minutes ago. You can get an idea of what the federal authorities are trying to do to bring this compound down.
This is Bonnie Anderson. What I can tell you is that what is being rammed here in this picture is the front door, the very front of the compound. There is a reception area right there. Down the hall is a music area, indeed a stage where David Koresh, who's an avid rock and roll guitar player, would hold concerts. We knew that there were between 4 and 6 Abrams tanks there. There was a similar number of Bradley fighting vehicles. This is the first, though, we've seen the combat engineering vehicles, the CEVs. Now, they are all being driven by FBI agents, we're told. Indeed, the agents at the helm have all been given 6 hours of lessons by National Guard troops and Army troops. Indeed, early on, they were having a number of problems driving these vehicles because they simply did not have practice. At one point, one of the Abrams tanks ran over a media car that was left behind on the day of the raid, and media was told that it was an accident.
And if that is not testimony to the size and the power of these vehicles that are being employed against the Branch Davidian compound this morning, nothing is. We heard a report earlier today from correspondent Robert Vito that the federal authorities' game plan, he understood, was to begin to tear the compound down building by building and bit by bit, and thus to, in effect, force the inhabitants into one area, as the inhabitable areas grew increasingly smaller. What we are seeing now would appear to be, or at least could be, a very slow, deliberate implementation of that policy, if that's what it is.
Bob, it's interesting to note here that as much power as these vehicles obviously have, it looks to me like that they could take one of these buildings down very quickly, but yet they've chosen not to do that. That's interesting strategy.
Earlier today, Charles Jaco reported that federal agents did use flashbangs, did lob these flashbangs into the building. This is a type of grenade, but it's not aimed at wounding people. Instead, it issues a tremendous flash of light and a loud sound, and it basically stuns people for about 30 seconds. This is a common tactic used by the FBI SWAT team and the FBI's hostage rescue team, which is an elite team of highly trained men and women. It's also useful to note that while the original raid on February 28th was handled by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, this was when they were trying to serve an arrest and search warrant on David Koresh, who was suspected of violating federal gun control laws. From the night of the raid, the FBI took over the tactical operations. Indeed, all of the agents we're seeing involved are FBI agents. The ATF officials, and this again was confirmed to me a few hours ago, are on perimeter duty. This, of course, except for the high-ranking officers of the ATF who are in the command center that you saw a short while ago, a center that's about 200 or 300 yards away from the compound.
We had a report earlier as well that tear gas or gas, and we inferred tear gas, was being pumped into the building as holes were punched in the building. I think it's probably worthwhile to note at this point that federal authorities have told us and the rest of the news media nothing, except one cryptic comment from one FBI agent who said, and we quote, "There's something going on." The feds have scheduled a news conference for a little over an hour from now at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So in the meantime, we are left, as you are, to report what we are seeing. And it is entirely possible in a situation like this that some incorrect inferences may have been made by some observers. The pictures certainly speak eloquently enough for themselves, though. Obviously, there is a major operation going on by federal authorities. Whether tear gas might be being pumped through this battering ram, and I don't know if that is a ridiculous question or not. We don't know whether tear gas is indeed being pumped into the building, as was earlier reported.
We'll take a break in our coverage and come back with more news for you right after this.